Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's really the key that you mentioned there towards the end about like, a lot of times we're faced with these difficult decisions where like, we want to be lazy, but if we seek the discomfort and take action, that's where we'll improve and become better and, take these obstacles and turn them into opportunities. So something that's really interesting here that especially for a lot of people listening is that you mentioned about self-development, and that's obviously a lot of us players are, we need to do that, especially if we don't have a ton of coaching. So what are some strategies for self development? Like, maybe you playing like all these tournaments in a row, but, comparing that to USTA players playing a ton of USTA matches and then just a few practices here and there. So, what are some ways to really actually improve yourself, versus just like playing the same old game every single match?
No, that's a great question. The way I kind of would go about it now, because as you develop, you grow, and you think about the game in different ways. It's important to at least the way I grew up, I had to play a bunch of matches to kind of develop and learn about myself versus really getting one-on-one attention where someone could really tell you that this is what your game's really like, and this is what you should do and be moldable in terms of what your abilities are and whatnot. I would definitely always look at what you do well. Like, for me personally, I was more of a natural net player, so to speak, and I was quick, and I would go back and be a counterpuncher, but I wasn't fully developed as a junior to have someone just say, look, you got to just go to the net and be able to get to the net and develop, but your style is more, catered to getting to the net, taking balls a little bit earlier and shortening the points, and use your hands to be able to control the point and put pressure on your opponent. So uh, on an early, for guys that are playing juniors, let's say, or even adults and that are getting into the game a little more, I would definitely say look at what your strengths are, right? And everybody has a strength, whether it's a forehand, whether it's a backhand, whether it's a serve. I'm talking about competitive players. They have something that they rely on and that they go to, and you can develop those over time as well, right? But from an early age, I'm pretty sure like you look at Nadal, you could probably Google or YouTube, like at 16 or something, 15, even younger, he's sitting there ripping forehands. You could see this on YouTube, right? So you can definitely see that his natural ability to hit the forehand was huge. Like he just, he was going for it in terms of being brave, and whether it be Uncle Tony telling him to hit it, he was developing that certain shot where I'm sure I heard from other players that, in the beginning when he came on tour, his backhand wasn't, very solid. But now, that his forehand was so deadly that he was winning all his points running around his forehand. Over time, he developed and he got it better, and then his backhand got better and his serve and everything got better. But in terms of looking at the highest levels, you want to overall round off your game. Like we all want to play like Federer, right? When you want to be able to chip and come to the net and be able to slice and be able to come around the ball and drive your backhand and hit a big forehand and have flawless footwork. But I think looking at what you do well specifically and really molding the game around that will give you more benefit than going into matches and then trying to develop your game around that will give you a lot more confidence. I wish I did that earlier, and I learned that later. Kind of had to suffer through it and take a bunch of losses, but learn what your strengths are earlier than later, and try to mold your game around that. And then obviously other things are going to get better as well, right? It's just those things are going to cater to your strengths, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was actually on a webinar yesterday with Craig O'Shaughnessy, who was a strategist for Novak Djokovic, and he was just saying like, you just gotta hit more forehands because I mean that's the weapon for most people, and it's just but percentage wise when they analyze the points, like the more you hit forehands, the more you're winning the points. So definitely focusing on your strengths and just pitting that against opponents' weaknesses is the way to go for sure.